name is Shane Polchinski, and my topic today is firefighting. So, firefighting. What do you think of when you hear that word? Probably people that fight fires, right? They do fight fires, but that's not the only thing they do. Today's topics. The requirements to become a firefighter. What does it take? The duties also. Also some overlooked duties that some people might not think of. And also the impact firefighters have on the community. So, requirements. You have to be at least 18 or 21 years old, depending on what part of the state you are in. Also, you're required to do a 2-year program, associate degree, but there are bachelor degrees available in case you want more advanced training. Also, EMT is required because firefighters are some of the first people on the scene, and they need to be able to provide medical care in case there are extensive injuries. They also have to be involved in yearly training so their skills are up to date and they are ready to fight fires effectively. Volunteer versus paid. Volunteer firefighters obviously don't get money for fighting fires, and they're on an on-call basis, and they have to have another job because that's going to be their source of income. Paid firefighters. They do have a salary or wage, and they do work out of the fire department, and that is their main source of income, and their day is usually a 24-hour working period with 48 hours off, or a 10-hour day with 14 hours off. Duties. They do fight fires, yes, but they also tend to car crashes, and they use the jaws of life, as you see in this photo. And they also clean up chemical spills, and they do rescue operations on land or water. And again, they have to be EMT certified to provide that medical care. Some overlooked duties. Household chores. Yes, firefighters have to clean up around the fire station and mop and sweep, and they also have to power wash the trucks to make sure that they're looking very nice when they go out to a fire or a car crash, and because they take great pride in their trucks. They also serve as a counselor when people lose everything from a fire and their whole house burns down and they have no belongings left over. Firefighters are there to lend an empathetic ear and to offer some advice, and also they go out of their way to buy people things, even just a pair of shoes or a shirt, so they have something to wear. Also, they work to prevent fires. They look at maps, and they go to buildings and look at the structure, and they devise a plan and a strategy in case a fire does happen, and then they're ready to go, and they know it's going to happen. They're also teachers. Elementary schools either go to the fire station, or firefighters go to the elementary schools, and they teach kids about how to prevent fires from even happening, and if a fire does happen, they provide the information on how to get out of a fire safely and what you should do. The difficulties of being a firefighter. It's physically draining. You are fighting fires in 100 pounds of gear, and you have to drag yourself through the burning building, and it's after an hour of doing that, you're just drained. Also, it's emotionally draining because you're seeing all this destruction and sometimes death, and when you have a family of your own, you think about them all the time, and it's hard to see it all the time, as you can see in this photo. The impact firefighters have. They save property and lives, first and foremost. This was evident in the Paris Cathedral fire. Firefighters arrived pretty quickly and started to put out the fire, and because of that, they were able to save most of the artifacts and relics of the cathedral. They also worked to prevent future fires from happening and other future tragedies from happening by planning ahead and making sure the community is up to date with all their fire detectors or smoke detectors, and making sure they have like fire extinguishers and stuff like that. They also teach others, mostly kids, because if a kid's home alone, they're not going to know what to do unless they're told by an adult, and they go through scenarios of how to crawl on their hands and knees to get out of their house safely. And when they aren't putting out fires and saving people from car crashes and cleaning up chemical spills, they're giving back to the community and including the community by hosting brat fries and getting to know people, and also they drive their trucks in parades. So, firefighters are a very essential part of a working community. They have extensive training to be able to perform the duties that they do, and they even go further than that to prevent things from fires and car crashes from even happening. All in all, firefighters are around to serve and protect the community to ensure people like you and I live a safe life. Are there any questions? Yes.
So what happens when the fire's all done, after like a house burns down? Do the firefighters just leave right after the fire's put out? What happens?
No, they usually stick around because sometimes there are still embers left around, so they're there to put those out if they're still there, and also they do an assessment of the whole structure and they try to determine the cause of the fire and why it happened. Yes.
Are there any things in place to give emotional support to firefighters after they've seen all the destruction and sometimes death?
There's nothing set in place, but firefighters can talk amongst themselves about it, or they can go to a counselor like anyone else would, but the chief or someone higher ranked would usually oversee their, their fellow firefighters, and just make sure they're okay and that they're, getting the best emotional support. Is that it? Okay, thank you.